errands and last-minute shopping, which can be a recipe for stress. This combination can take a toll on your mental health as well as your fitness goals. It is important to keep stress to a minimum and to relax mentally as well as let off some steam by physically moving. So I have created a 3-week workout series leading up to the holidays to keep your stress at bay and just sweat it off. We are entering into our 3rd and final week of our Yoga Flow to Let Go workout series and help you reduce your stress through the holidays. You will be given 2 workouts per week containing yoga and strength as well as plyometric circuits. You'll also be given an extra cardio bonus day to sweat off extra stress when you have time. So let's go ahead and learn the exercises for week 3's workout. The first exercise is Warrior 2 slides. Take a deep breath, stepping onto your glide board into a Warrior 2 position. Slide forward until the leg comes into 90 degrees, keeping the back leg extended and straight. Lengthen through the arms as you slide through the pose. Next is a plyometric move, scissor, scissor, hold. Switch through the feet and then drop down into a lunge. Keep your knee in line with the toes. Chair, sit, stand, and twist. Sit down into the glide board, stand back up, and then rotate through your torso. Lengthen through your arms. Again, we sit down, and then stand up and rotate the other direction. This time, sit down, lift up your feet, balance through your core, stand up and rotate through the torso. Sit back down, lift up the legs, stand as you rotate through the torso, and repeat this motion. Roll back and shoulder stand. Come down to your glide board, pike your hips up into a shoulder stand, articulate through your spine to stand up again, and lengthen through your arms. Again, come down to your glide board, rolling through your spine, pike the hips up, shoulder stand, roll back and stand back up. Roll down through your spine, articulating, pike the hips up to shoulder stand, articulate back down, stand to finish. Dolphin plank ups. Inhale as you walk your hands down towards the glide board, come into a plank position on your forearms, and push through the arms as you come back up into down dog. This motion is referred to as dolphin. Really work through your core as well as through your triceps to accomplish this motion. Keep your core engaged, and exhale as you press back through the arms. Next, we move into seated twist and cable chop. Take one cable anchored down onto your glide board, come into a seated twist position, and move the cable from the hip up to the opposite shoulder, rotating through your torso. Be sure to sit nice and tall. Next is plank cobra tricep extension. Take both cables anchored down to your glide board and come into a plank position. Lower your body into cobra, extending through the spine, and then go into tricep extension. Again, we lift up into plank, keeping your core engaged. Lower down into cobra, lengthen through your spine, and then tricep extension. Once more, keep the core engaged as you lift up. Cobra, and then tricep extension, lengthen through your triceps. Anchor down and come into a high kneeling position for kneeling rows. Bring both cables into the hands, bringing the elbows high and squeezing through the middle of the back. Keep the knee in line with the toe. Stretch through your hip flexor and engage your core for balance. Walk your hands onto the glide board and lower your hips down into upward facing dog. Press the hips back into downward facing dog, and then drop the knees, pressing your hips back for child's pose. Again, lower your hips down into the glide board, shoulders down, upward dog. Press back for downward facing dog, lengthen through your spine, drop the knees for child's pose. Come back into plank, lower the hips for upward facing dog, shoulders away from ears, press back into downward facing dog. Then drop the knees, extend the hips back for child's pose. Here are the exercises for day 2. Walk up crescents. Take your hands onto the glide board, coming up into a plank pose, step forward into crescent pose. Lengthen through the arms, come back into plank and change legs. Crescent pose. Lengthen through the arms. Again, bring them down to the glide board, keeping it open, alternating crescent pose lunges. By keeping the glide board open, challenges your balance. Keep your core engaged and press through your hip flexor to get the added stretch. Alternating triangle pose. Turn to one side, shifting through one hip. Lower down as you follow the leg, stretch through the arm, and then come back up, turning to the other side. Press through the hip, reach through the arm, slide down towards the floor, forming a triangle with the leg and the arm. Turn to the other side, press through the hip, keep the chest lifted, eyes are gazing up at your hand, press through the hip again. The more that you press the hip back, the more that you reach the arm, the more you can feel the stretch and keep your core engaged. Come to the floor for PLYO plank side hops. Hop to one hand, then back into plank, and then over to the other side, keeping your shoulders on top of the wrists. Hop back each time into your plank position, keeping your core engaged and strong through your motion. Come into a chair sit position. Lower down to your glide board. As you stand, rotate through your torso and lengthen through your arms. Again, sit down to your glide board and rotate to the other side as you stand. This time, lift up through the legs, engage your core, rotate and stand. Keep your core engaged, lift through the legs, rotate through the torso as you stand. Inhale and exhale each time. Come down to your glide board, rolling your spine back. Press up into shoulder stand, articulate through your spine, stand up and lengthen through your arms. Return back to the glide board as you roll down through the spine, coming up into shoulder stand, and then come back up into a standing position. Keep your core engaged, articulate through your spine each time. Move slowly so that you can keep in control of the motion. Roll down through the spine, walking your hands onto the glide board. Step in between the rails and lift one leg for standing split taps. As the leg lifts up into the split, press the glide board up the rails. So you're moving in opposition. Be sure to do this exercise on both sides. Face away from your tower and come into a reverse crescent. Switch the legs and hop to the other side. Lunge back, pressing your hip flexor forward. Lengthen through the arms, keeping your torso lifted and your core engaged. Roll down through the spine, bringing your hands onto your glide board. Lengthen through your body as you come into a forearm plank. Shift the body back into dolphin pose. Press through the triceps, activate through your core. Be sure to exhale as you press back through the arms. Bring the incline up to a medium level. Connect your cable to the glide board for pigeon cable circles. Take both cables into your hands, anchor down onto your glide board, and come into a pigeon pose. One knee to the outside, the other is lengthened back. Begin to circle the arms all the way around, keeping your torso lifted and reaching forward. After you've done so many in one direction, reverse your circle and go the opposite way. Be sure to keep your hips forward, chest lifted, and shoulders away from your ears. Grab one cable, anchor down with one hand and one knee to a half kneeling position for kneeling half moon rows. Begin to pull the cable as the elbow pulls up and back, rowing with one arm. For more advanced, extend the leg out to the side, balancing on your arm and your knee, and continue to row. Step up onto the glide board, bringing your knee up high. Come down to the floor into dancer pose. When you come up, bring the knee as high as you can. Balance, focusing, pressing the foot into the hand into dancer pose. Be sure to keep your core engaged and do both sides. Anchor down with both cables onto your glide board. Come into a plank position. Lower the body down and come into COBRA. Extend the arms back for tricep extension. And then repeat. Plank position, extend the spine into COBRA, and then tricep extension with the arms. Once more, keeping your core engaged, plank, extend the spine into COBRA, and then in tricep extension, lengthening through the backs of the arms. Inhale, bring in the arms overhead. Walk your hands down to the glide board and come into upward facing dog, dropping through the hips, shoulders remain down away from the ears. Press back into downward facing dog, and then drop the knees to the glide board, extend the hips back for child's pose. Bonus cardio sweat off stress. The flowing warm-up begins with a warrior 1. Open up into warrior 2. Flow and balance into warrior 3. Reverse your warrior, stretching up long and down the back of the leg. Cartwheel the arms down into plank position and step forward with the other leg. Warrior 1. Open up into warrior 2. Shift forward into balance warrior 3. Reverse your warrior, and then cartwheel the arms down to plank position, chaturanga or upward facing dog, shoulders away from ears, press back into downward facing dog, lower the heels, press through the spine, walk your hands back, inhale as you reach the arms overhead and bring your hands into your heart center to repeat. Now come to your total gym to sweat off stress. Begin with squat jumps. Land light through the feet, keeping your core engaged. Take it to single leg jumps. Try to get full range of motion, and then take it out to the side for pendulum hops. Bring the feet together for twist hops. The knees follow the toes. Rotate through the waist, keep your core engaged, and then come to your side for side lying outer thigh jumps. Extend the leg as you jump and land light on your feet. Activate through the outer thigh and be sure to do this exercise on both sides. Next is tuck single leg landing. jump up, bringing both legs into a tuck jump, and then land lightly on one leg. Alternate sides each time you jump, keep your core engaged, and bring the knees up as high as you can. Slowly roll up and come off of your glide board for some floor plyometric movements. Come into the lunge drop. Drop down into a lunge, hop the feet together, and then change sides. So it's a lunge, hop together, lunge, and hop. Next, come into plank jacks. Bring your body into a plank position and start to jump and jack the legs. Keep your shoulders on top of wrists and your core engaged throughout the entire series. Next, we go into skiing. Start to laterally hop from side to side, balancing on one leg. Try to get as much lateral motion as you can each time. Lastly, we have high-low twists. There's 2 high twists. Drop your hips lower and twist down lower. Keep alternating this from high to low. Now let's go down with some stretches. Place the hands on top of the glide board, open up onto one side to rotate through the torso for straddle, stretch, and rotate. Turn away from the tower, placing your hands on the squat stand and the other foot on the glide board. Lower down into a deep crescent lunge, lift the arm, and press your hip flexor forward. Be sure to do that stretch on both sides. Now walk your hands onto the mat for up dog. Shoulders are away from the neck, press back into down dog. Lower the heels down towards the floor, and then bend the knees, hips press back into child's pose. Repeat these stretches as many times as you wish. Now we flip it onto our back for our final rest and relaxation pose of Shavasana. Try to breathe, meditate, clear your mind, and get rid of all the stress and anxiety from your day. And that completes the final week of your Yoga Flow to Let Go and your Sweat Off Stress for the holiday season. I hope you enjoyed this entire 3-week series to help reduce your stress and keep your body moving throughout the holiday season. Have a happy holiday, and I'll see you next year.